listen to me for a moment. Welcome again. If you are going to have your cameras on, remember that this presentation is going to be recorded. So, and it will be, hello, Maria, Rosa Maria, welcome.
Yeah.
Be aware of this. No, this recording is it will be published publicly on YouTube and maybe included in other digital and print media by the regional English language office or the U.S. Embassy and the U.S. Department of State in order to promote exchange programs and public diplomacy efforts. So, if you do not want to appear in the recording, remain your camera off, right? And you can still ask and answer questions using the chat slot, which is not going to be captured in video, right? And that leads me to the next thing. If you have any kind of question or you want to state anything to the presenter, just do it during the presentation, but on the chat slot, and I'm going to send her or let her know about your question. That's it. That's all. Welcome one more time. Welcome to Re-Evolution one more time. And I introduce to you Miss Dinora's app with collaborative activities to engage students in online settings. Welcome, Dinora.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the presentation. And as Angelo has graciously introduced me and introduced the session, I want to welcome all of you who are watching, who are sharing their screen. And just as a reminder, remember to mute your microphone if you're sharing your camera with us so that there's no background noise and so that people can listen to the presentation and we can have a good recording and a good flow of the information. So today we are going to present some activities for you. And this is my name, Denora Sapp. I'm an English language teacher and a professional development consultant. I am a private contractor for the U.S. Embassy in Santiago, Chile, and I am very happy to be working for them for this period of time. I was supposed to be in Santiago, Chile through the State Department doing a fellowship. I was chosen as an English language fellow. And unfortunately, COVID came and I had to return to the United States. But thankfully, the embassy was able to have me back. And so I am very happy to be doing professional development with all of my teachers en Chile. Y bueno, yo hablo español, soy mexicana, de nacionalidad mexicana, pero llevo muchos años aquí en los Estados Unidos. So I am speaking to you live from Indiana in the US. I live in Bloomington, Indiana. So I am glad that this virtual conference kind of unites us and lets us share things with everybody. As Angelo said, if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to put them in the chat. And just as a reminder, don't forget to mute yourself if you are sharing your screen with us this morning so that we can have a smooth transition for our presentation.
Please turn off the microphones during the presentation or you will be removed from it, please.
Thank you so much. So this is our agenda today. Our agenda today is we're going to talk about some goals. What are we here for? What is this presentation about? We're going to define collaborative learning, and then we are going to share some activities. I have 3 activities for you that have worked with some people, some students, some teachers, and some final thoughts. If you want to follow along in this presentation, this is a QR code, and so you can take a picture with your camera. The presentation has also been shared in the chat, so you can go ahead and do this if you want to. So our goals for today is to describe the concept of collaborative learning and its used in language teaching, to learn about 3 engaging and collaborative online activities, and to explore challenges and solutions for keeping students engaged. So before we start with the definition of collaborative learning, I just want to say I realize that a lot of us are teaching now online, that this is a new way of being for us. So I know we talked about, and I heard a lot of presentations yesterday about making sure that students can access a computer, that they have access to the tools that we want them to do. So some of these activities are, they're going to be with a background, with a focus on thinking of our students having access to a computer. Some of these activities can be done on a mobile phone, and a lot of these activities are very low tech, so they don't require a lot of video, a lot of moving parts. So I recognize that a lot of our students might not have access to a computer. They might have access to other things, but at the same time, if they do have a computer, these are things that that I'm going to be focused on. So we know that collaborative learning is a method of teaching and learning in which students team together to explore a significant question. And we've done collaborative learning in our classrooms. We pair people, we give them tasks, and so we know the effectiveness of collaborative learning. We also talk about peer learning or group learning, where people find solutions to a problem and we put them together because 2 or 3 heads are better than one. And there's been a lot of research on how to, address issues and how to put them together and how students can solve those. Here are some benefits. I'm not going to read them all, and there's a very good website that I've just linked in here. But some of the things that we do with students when we put them in groups and pairs, it's to develop critical thinking skills, to kind of have pride in group projects, expose them to different points of view, and have them look at, what does my partner think? Does he have a different idea, or does she think that, there's something better out there? And also, I always like to get my students in thinking in what's in the future for them. So we're studying English and we have some personal goals, but also if you are in a business, if you're a teacher, if you're a lawyer, if you're an accountant, if you are a store clerk, you are going to have to collaborate. You're going to have to be in groups, and it's a real setting. So this is also preparing students to be in the real world out there collaborating with people. Some recommendations that I have and that other experts have before you do collaborative learning is start grouping students early in your semester, in your term. So have some activities where students can get together and know each other before you put them in a big project. So icebreakers, get to know questionnaires, just things that start building this community before you have something big for them to do. Expectations, some rules. So if I'm in a group, what am I expected to do? What do I need to follow? So that's a lot of work on the teacher, but in the end, it's going to be a really good outcome if you spell out what the students are expected to do. Guidance and instructions. So I know our time is precious online and we don't want to be giving instructions over and over and over, but we can record the instructions. We can give documents with instructions of what the students need to be able to do for our activity, and also be really clear and open with the students about how they're going to be graded. So share the rubrics with them. Tell them, okay, if you want a very good grade in your project as a group, these are my expectations. This is what you need to do. So here we go. 3 activities for you today. These activities I've done 1 or 2. A lot of people have also done one of these activities, and we're still looking at their effectiveness. I've heard, I've read personally, I've had success with some of these activities, and now it's your turn to tinker with them, to make them yours, or to say, you know what, I really don't want to do this activity. I don't find it necessary for me. And that's fine. We're learning. This is a place for us to experiment. The first one is Google Keep. So this is part of the Google Suite. We have Google Docs. I'm using Google Slides. We have Google Forms. But a lot of people don't know about Google Keep. Google Keep is a note-taking application. So basically, you take notes and you post them and you send yourself reminders. And what I like to use Google Keep is for brainstorming or for writing. So at this time, I'm going to unshare my screen and share again my tab with my Google Keep so that you can see it clearly. So here we go. So this is Google Keep. Google Keep is free. You probably have to have a Gmail account, but you don't have to. So these are notes. So you have little post-it notes. It might look a lot like some other apps like Flipgrid or some other applications. What I like to do is I like to make notes and then have students collaborate in this notes. So I have 3 examples on how to collaborate with Google Keep. So I'm not gonna teach you how to use Google Keep. That's something that you might just have to kind of play around with. But basically, you take a note. So for example, I can give it a title and say, my presentation notes. And I say, hello, everybody. And then I close. And I have made a note. It's right down here, right? So that's a note. And then I can come back to this note if I need a reminder, if I need something to do. How I like to use it with my students is for writing, for example. So in here, I have something called morning routine. Let's say you are talking about you have to write what you do in the morning. But first, we like to brainstorm. So I make a note, and you can put any color you want. I just wanted to put it yellow, so I can tell students, go to the yellow note. And then you can click in this little tab called Collaborator. When you click on that Collaborator tab, you can email your student this note. So when your student or all of your students, you can put all of your students' email addresses. So when you get the note, they will come here and they can put more things in their morning routine, or they can create their own note. They can come and, put, oh, well, I wake up at 7, or they can do something else in this note. So you can ask students to collaborate using this note. For creative writing, for example, I have here a note that's called creative writing, and I have a beautiful picture by my friend Blake, who lives in Austria. He's a gardener and he took this picture. So I will share this note with my students, and I will type their email there. And then I will say, just tell me, what do you think about this flower? What does it smell like? What do you feel? What's the color? Where is it? What's the weather like? Do you like it? Is it scary? And do you have pictures of other flowers that you would like to share? And notes, you can add an image, and again, you can type it in here. So you invite your students to put all kinds of things in this note. I also like to use rubrics and peer assessment, peer rubrics with my students. And so in here, I have a note called 3 pluses and a wish. This very easy peer writing evaluation. And it's about when the students write something. You can collaborate with your note, and you can ask the student, okay, write what you like about your student's writing. Oh, I like, for example, if we're talking about the flower, I like the adjectives you use to describe the flower. Oh, I like how you say it reminds you of your grandmother. And then you have a wish. Maybe you can say, I wish you use more descriptive vocabulary. So this is a way for students to give each other feedback. You as a teacher, you can also give the students the feedback. So you can ask students to come and write. The function of this note, you can have a list item. So if you click list item, it uses, for example, blah, 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 blah. And that's another check mark, right? And so when you're done with it, you completed that one. So I'm going to close it. Now, let's pretend I have all these things. What can I do with it? So again, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm sorry I'm jumping around so much, but I really want to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to open this Google Doc. And imagine if you share this Google Doc with your students. Everybody is going to be in this Google Doc. Everybody is going to do this. Look on the side over here on my Google Doc. I have my notes. And guess what? All of my notes are there. All of the notes that the students make are there. And do you want to see some magic? And I don't work for Google. They're not paying me to do this. But I love using this because look, I can drag this note and it's right there. And so all of the notes that the students wrote will be in this Google shared file. And this Google document will have all the ideas for the students. So then the students can come and keep writing on what they already wrote. And if I don't like it, I can delete it, right? I can go back and say, no, I don't want this. For the morning routine, you can drag your note for the morning routine, and then the students can continue writing. So that's why I really like Google Notes for brainstorming, because we can have a place to have those notes, but then we can put them together in this document and then keep doing something with it. So instead of, we don't have blackboards right now. I would do my brainstorming in my Blackboard and I would do all my notes. But in this case, I'm using my notes as a brainstorming area. The fun part about Google Keep is that it's attached to Google Docs. So you can do this again. And you can, when you're done with your notes and you want to keep writing, you can just write and you can just keep writing your notes. This document, it could be a shared document where students are writing about their morning routine. For example, you can tell them, you have to write a paragraph. Now that you have done the brainstorm, then together you have to write one paragraph each, for example. So this is the way I like to use Google Keep. And again, there will be time at the end for questions. No worry, don't worry about it. So that's my first activity, Google Keep for brainstorming, and the integration of Google Keep, which is the notes, and the Google documents. Again, I have a phone. And you are able to do this on Google Docs on your phone if your students are not able to get to a computer. Let's move on with the next one. The next one, I have not tried it with a class yet, but I have heard very good things about it, and I think more people should know about this free resource. It's called Hypothesis, and Hypothesis is an annotation app. It's a free annotation app. You just have to register, and it's about annotating texts. And this is going to be collaborative because you will see in just a moment, people can talk to each other on the annotation. Again, I am not being paid by Hypothesis. This is just a website that a lot of people have talked about, and I really, really like it. So let me show you a little bit what it's like. So this is straight from the Hypothesis website, and these are layers of annotation. So we know annotation is when you write at the margins of your textbook or your text, and you can have questions, you can have definitions of things. This is what Hypothesis Online is about. So you have your text and you can annotate for the whole world. You can just get something online and start annotating and share with everybody. You can go more specifically, and that's what we're going to do today. You can go to a very specific class, like your class. You can also do very specific, for example, all English teachers, and you can put all English teachers in a group and you can annotate something. So these are the layers that you can use Hypothesis for. This is a very good article about annotating as a learning tool. I like to tell my students about annotating because when we read texts, sometimes students just highlight what they have questions about, but they don't think beyond just asking questions. So annotation, I always like to see as a conversation between the reader and the text. And it's as if you're asking the text, what do you mean by this sentence? What does that mean? Oh, have you seen that before? It's kind of like also a conversation between the reader and the author. But the author is your text, basically. So this is a very good article that talks about annotation. And this article tells us that you can use annotation to define words, to make personal connections, to give background information, explain concepts, the reader's reaction, the writer's intention. So you can use annotation for many things. But how are we going to use it for annotating as a collaborative, engaging activity? So here we go again. Let me share my screen one more time with you. And thank you for being so patient. So let me share my screen that talks about Hypothesis. There we go. So this is Hypothesis. So Hypothesis is a free website. I am going to log in. And well, before I log in, the easiest thing to do, for example, I have a website already for you that I'm going to annotate. So you see here it says paste a link all the way up here. So when I use paste a link, I'm going to give you a text that we're going to annotate together. So I click on that, and this is the text. This is something that I use often, the Voice of America Learning English website, and this is an article. So here is my article, and we are going to annotate in this article. So I have put it in here, and if you notice, I don't know if you notice at the very top of the website, I don't know if you can see the URL, it says via Hypothesis. So it's already linked to the Hypothesis website. And look, I think I'm doing a lot of magic this morning. So when we do this, if I want people to annotate, if I want to share with everybody, I highlight, and then I have a pop-up window, and I click Annotate. So again, I go to the Hypothesis, I put the link, and then I highlight, and it's all ready to go. So I click Annotate. And something should happen that is not happening. So technology is beautiful. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna show it right there. I think I need to make my screen a little bigger. Here we go. So let me see why I'm not showing it yet. Let me let me give you this one. Here we go. So I am annotating. Let me share a different screen with you. I'm sorry about that, so that you can see what I'm seeing. So when you're annotating with this, let me see, it's the second one. Hopefully this will work. Thank you for being patient again. Nope, it's the wrong one. So let's try one more time. I'm sorry about that. And last time to share, let's share this one. There we go. Yes, it's working. So do you see at the end right here where I'm doing my cursor? That's the annotation. So I've highlighted things and I've already annotated something. So I show you already how to highlight and you annotate, and I don't know why it wasn't working, but this is the way it works. So for example, I annotated this part of the text and I agree. I answer something to this text. Now, what you can share with your students is this link. And when you share with the students this link, they can keep annotating. They can keep doing this. For example, imagine that you are annotating and I'm going to reply to this. It keeps us grounded. Without them, we may feel lost. And I'm going to say, I disagree, for example, and I'm going to post it in here. So in Hypothesis, you can create your own group. So if you see on here on the top, there's the public group, and I have created one just for us, or just for the conference. So when you go to the conference or to your own group with your students, you can annotate a specific text and then invite your students to have a conversation with the text, but with you too. So let me annotate one more. See, and so it was there, and here is the annotation. And so you can say, yes, I had to leave Chile in March, and it was very sad, right? And then I'm going to post it. And it's right there. So you can always come back and access this. You can always come back and access them, and you can again share them with your students. So this will be the link that you send your students, and they will see this. When you have, for example, if we want to go public, nobody has annotated anything in this group, in this public group. But in my group, in the group of the teachers, of you, my viewers, I have annotated this website. Let me show you real quick another website that I have annotated for you. And again, my apologies that the first one didn't show very well. So this is for beginner speakers. Beginning readers. This is Learning English from the BBC for those of you who want to use something else. And these are stories for children, for low intermediate level. So I have annotated this website, and I've had a question here. What is shown? So it says here, the sun shone warm and golden. So I can ask a question, and then my students can reply. For example, my students can reply, I think it's a verb, the past of shine, for example, and I post it right there. So again, your students can have a conversation with you and with the text, and everybody would be there. And see, you see my name here, so you will be able to know who is answering this question from your students. So this is Hypothesis, and let me show you the main web page. So again, this is the main web page here, and this is how we paste the link here, and then you can start annotating in this link. So this I'll show you before I move on to the next activity. I'll show you, this is, if you're the teacher, this is the way you see your annotations. So this group is called the Relo Andes group. And so I have annotated 2 texts. I have annotated the stories for children, and I have annotated the bees help women get through pandemic. And so I can go back and I can see how the students responded to the reading, and I can grade the responses. So I can go back and say, okay, Denora had good questions. Oh, but this person over here didn't have good questions. So this is kind of like the teacher view, or the maker view of Hypothesis. So again, this is a website that I have not used with students, but a lot of universities, a lot of teachers are using this website, and it seems to be a very collaborative and engaging way for students to look at a text. Instead of just asking questions, Juanito, read number 1, what do you think that is? And everybody else is in the background asleep, right? You can start annotating. I ask people to annotate each paragraph. So everybody is collaborating, everybody is engaged. So that's why I like this website. Good, we're gonna have time for questions. I will share now the last and my favorite. Sorry, I needed to show you my slides. Oops, I jumped the gun. I needed to show you my slides before I show you the last one. So here we go. So we finished with Hypothesis. The next one is Wakelet. And if you're here from Chile, or if you're my friend, you know that I've been talking about Wakelet for the past 3 or 4 months. Wakelet is a website that allows teachers, anybody, but especially teachers, to organize, share all kinds of multimedia and resources with colleagues and with students. I use them collaboratively, or people have used them collaboratively to do newsletters, and I have used them with all my teachers in Chile to put websites, to put links. So let me show you what Wakelet is all about. So I will, and again, sorry to be jumping around, but this is the best way to share with you. I will share Wakelet. So this is what we mean by Wakelet. Wakelet is a collection of resources. It's free. You just go to wakelet.com, sign up, and you can start using your collections. Some people have called Wakelet kind of like a high-level Pinterest, or some people have called Wakelet a Google Drive with a lot of good stuff, a lot of good mobility. So however you want to call it, these are collections. So for example, I have created tons of collections here. And if we look at one of the collections, for example, webinars and videos for online teaching, I have created this collection of webinars and videos, and I can share them with anybody, and you can come and, click on them and go and do things, with them. What I would like to show you is I have created also, there's a space that Wakelet uses. So I have one space and I have my personal space, but I'm going to show this space with you. So these are a space for us, collaborative activities. So I'm going to go back to my presentation and share with you a link. you are going to collaborate with me, and we are going to, and here for the website, for the templates, you can use them as newsletters, but there are some, different ways that we can use Wakelet in the classroom. But what I want you to do right now, as we speak, I want you to take a picture of that QR code, or if you're downloading the presentation, I want you to click on that Wakelet code right here, or Wakelet link, or go to wakelet.com and enter this code. So we are going to collaborate right now. You are going to share with me either websites, or you can write something. So I'll show you in a second what it looks like. So I'll leave this here for just 1 or 2 minutes for people to take a picture, to go into wakelet.com and collaborate, and have some time for us to collaborate. Again, I use it for professional development purposes. You can use it for newsletters, for students to write something, and your students don't have to have a Wakelet. You can just send them the link and they can come to your space, they can come to your collection and collaborate. So if Angela would like to copy and paste probably in the chat so that we can move on to the Wakelet, that would be great. So excellent. So he's giving me the thumbs up. Okay. So let me stop sharing this and let's all go to Wakelet and see how we are going to collaborate together. So here we go. This is where everybody should be in this place. I'm going to edit my collection. So once you're here, I can edit the collection, and everybody can do the same thing. So you click edit the collection, and you can have them unlisted, so only people with the link can come. You can have them public, or if you don't want to share them, if they're just personal things, for example, recipes, workout videos, pictures of cats, you can have a collection for just yourself. But you can also have it for your students. So you have shared this with your students, and I have created here. Oh, I see tons of people. Natalie, I see Rocio, I see Lucia. And so what you can do now is you can click in this little guy, and then you can add text. Or, for example, I can say, thank you for coming to my Wakelet. And it's there. So, everybody's making changes. So I'm going to reload the collection and see what everybody is sharing. Oh, Rocio says, this is an amazing tool to share with our students. Excellent. And let's see, more collaborative activities. So you can go at the bottom of this web page and you can do that. Guess what you can also do? You can change the view. So I'm going to put it on mood board. When you put it on mood board, everything kind of gets really weird. So I like to put it in compact view, so that I have a flow and I have a division of things that I have. Yeah, more people are coming to the Wakelet. Excellent. So here it is, Fabiola, Rocio, Andreita, Lourdes. Excellent. And this is how you invite your students. So you click here and invite, just like I invited you, and you can tell your students, I mean, not to this particular Wakelet that we're doing right now, but to your Wakelet that you create. And you can do this. So let me reload this Wakelet and see what people have done. People have written. Yeah, so people have just added. This is awesome. Excellent. Yeah, and so you can put more and more and see Aurora is writing. Thank you for these relevant tools. You're welcome, Aurora. And so this is Wakelet. Wakelet has revolutionized collecting and sharing with teachers. It's free, and Wakelet also has webinars, and it has also, you can join as a community. So you can join and share, and you can Twitter about it. So it has been so interesting to share with. As people keep collaborating, you can become a Wakelet member. And you can also become a Wakelet community member, and you can become an ambassador, and you can get real cool stuff. You don't have to, but if you want to share it with your teachers, you can share it with your students. Andreita shared an email, something. Aureliana shared something. Excellent. So people are sharing all kinds of things. Somebody shares some news from the VOA News. Excellent. So this is how we can share. And the best part is that from now on, anytime you want to come and share collaborative activities with everybody that you met at Relo Andes, you can come to this. I'm going to leave it open forever and ever. So I'm going to be looking into this, and I'm going to see how we are sharing these resources, how we are finding things, collaborate activities, or anything else that you want to share with all of your Relo friends. I have 96 people that have come to this presentation. You can come to this Wakelet and share things with us. So I am done presenting. Let me share my final screens with you so that we wrap this up and we have some time for questions. So some final thoughts. There are challenges, of course. We're all excited about all this new technology, but our students might not be familiar with collaborating, or they might be kind of, they don't like collaborating. They might have negative experiences, so we just need to work through those. Personality clashes, so that's what's important, to put clear expectations in collaborative activities that you do with your students. Accountability, so you have to tell, yes, I'm going to grade you by yourself, but also as a group. And also, again, technology, equity, and accessibility. Does everybody have a computer? Is everybody able to do the annotating? Is everybody able to collaborate? So those are things that we need to look into. We're going to have some time for questions or for comments. I would like to thank everybody for coming. I will really like to thank my two bosses at the U.S. Embassy, Kay Hall and Marcela Hidalgo, and to all my amazing perfectos amigos y amigas de los American Spaces en Chile. Muchísimas gracias de colaborar conmigo en estos meses, and I look forward to collaborating more with you. Again, this is a QR code of this presentation. That's my email address, and if you're downloading the presentation, there's a Wakelet link of my Wakelet, and also I'm on LinkedIn. I don't do a bunch of stuff on LinkedIn, but if you want to go look for me, that would be excellent. And, yeah, so Angelo, do we have any questions? Thanks, everybody.
All right. Yes, thanks again to everybody for coming. Yes, we have a couple of questions so far. Let me send it to you. The first question is from Salma Alev. Thanks, Salma. It says, would you please provide us an effective learning management system or teaching platform for delivering multiple course formats, such as audios, videos, online discussions, and stuff? Can you recommend any of a platform that would involve all of this?
Wakelet. Wakelet. Yeah, Wakelet. So let me show you. I'm sorry. Again, Wakelet is not paying me to do this again. It's just something I enjoy using. So here, let me share Wakelet again with you. And if you go to Wakelet if you go to, for example, my Wakelet, I can create a new collection. So let's pretend I'm creating a good collection, and here you can have a course. You can have an English course on Wakelet. Look, you can paste the URL, you can upload PDFs, you can upload from Google Drive, you can do videos, you can use YouTube images, or if you use Microsoft, you can use OneDrive. So if you don't have Blackboard, if you don't have Canvas, if you don't have Moodle, I think Wakelet is your ticket and it's free. Your students don't have to sign up for it, right? You can share the link with your students and your students can come and look at your stuff. Now, it doesn't have grading, the grading application. It doesn't have feedback unless you make it feedback on the text, but that's what I would recommend. Good question.
Yeah. One more. Diana Denise says, could you please show again how you get the notes added to the Google Docs so students can interact? Sorry, I lost connection. I think she's referring to Wakelet. No. Could you please show again how you get the notes added to the Google Docs so students can interact?
Yes, I would be very happy to do that. Yeah. So let me go back and do Google Keep. So if you go to Google Keep, so I have my Google Keep here. And then if I grab my Google Doc, so oops, sorry. I'll go to my Google Docs. And everybody's going to see my Google. My Google Docs, sorry about that. So here it is. So imagine you have shared a Google Doc with your students. So everybody has the link, everybody comes and has the same thing. So here on the right-hand side, you have something like calendar, keep, or tasks. So if you click on keep, right, you are linked, for example, you are linked, my Google Keep, my personal Google Keep is linked to the Google Doc. So if you are a teacher and you start with your Google Notes, your Google Keep Notes, and you tie it to a Google Doc, you're able to move those things. Now, your students can do that individually as well. If they have their own Google account, they can make their own Google Keep. My suggestion here is for everybody to collaborate. So everybody collaborates on this little yellow note or in this flower. And so once you have the collaboration with everybody on the note, it's really easy to drag and drop everybody's notes into this Google Doc. So again, I'm using my Google Keep as a brainstorming activity, and instead of copying and pasting from something else, I'm just easily dragging from one place to another. So pretend everybody's blah, 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 blah. Everybody's brainstorming is here. And so now you tell your students, okay, Manuel and Cristina, you're going to do paragraph number 1. And Susanita y Angelo, you're going to do paragraph 2, right? So this is the way to collaborate with Google Keep. Your students can also, if your students, you can put your students in a group of 2 with their own account, and they can share the notes with you, and you can see what they're doing. So it's accountability and it's collaboration as well. Good question.
Another one from Ms. Rocio Romero. She's thanking for the presentation, and now it says, is there a time limit in which the collection could be shared with external participants, I mean students? Is there a limit in which the collection could be shared?
The Wakelet, I think she's talking about the Wakelet. Now, the Wakelet, it's, as far as I know, I can ask the Wakelet people. But as far as I know, once you share the link, whatever you do to the collection, unless you erase the collection, the link is for as much time as you want to. Now, I have not played with it, but if, for example, you want students to do an activity one day in your Wakelet, but then the next day you want a different activity, you can generate a new link and a new code. So if you want to have, for example, the next day, if you want to have them do, log in with a new link, you can do that as well. Also, I forgot to say, you can manage collaborates in your link. So right now, if everybody screen, everybody's a contributor. Goodness gracious. Wow, everybody's contributing. That's great. So I can make you, for example, Pamela, I can make her an administrator or just a contributor, or I can erase her. I'm not going to erase Pamela, no te preocupes. So you as a teacher have that ability to do that. Now, you can also if you just want somebody to look at it and not be a contributor, you can just share. And this is also the magic of Wakelet. You can share, if you use Google Classroom, you can embed it in your Google Classroom. If you use Teams, you can embed it in your Teams. You can tweet about it. You can put it as a link. You can put it on Reddit. You can put it on Facebook. And you can export it as a PDF. So for those students maybe who don't have a computer, or they want to print, for example, your Wakelet, they're able to do that, and you can embed it too. And you can also always have a QR code. So again, Wakelet is a great way to do that, and you can do a search. I didn't have very much time to show you the newsletters. Just let me show you real quick some of the newsletters. Oh no, I don't want to unfollow. So let me see, Lena. So no, Lena doesn't have. But in any case, there are some. Oh, maybe it's in my bookmarks. I have desserts, I have all kinds of things. There's some websites that were for, no, I'm not gonna see it, I'm sorry about that. But there's some websites that show you more specifically the templates, and I think they're on my presentation on how you can do Wakelet newsletters.
And this is from Ms. Lucia Moore. Do your students need to have a Gmail account in order to use Google Keep as collaboration?
No, they don't. No. They can have, whatever account, and if they have a Google account, it's, easier because they're already logged in. But no, you don't have to have a Google account. I did some testing this weekend with my other email account, my Yahoo account, and my husband's university account, and we could come as, with the other accounts and collaborate. So I can definitely say they don't have to have a Gmail account.
I do not have any more questions.
Nobody has any questions. Great. So
I do have on my own. In Wakelet, yes, in Wakelet, you assign a link, right? What about a deadline? Yes, another teacher asked if was there a limit? So can we set up a deadline for the collaboration or not?
I don't know if you. Yes, you can set up a website. You can do the collaboration, and I think this is the way you can do it. So if you share a link, for example, let's say you invite somebody and you generate it with this code, and then you can generate a new link so your students wouldn't be able to log in again with the old link. They will have to have the new link. So that's when you have the cutoff date, for example. You can say, personally, you can say, I'm going to give you a week to collaborate. And then after a week, you might have to send a reminder to yourself and then generate a new link and say, okay, no more, no more sharing. Here is a new code for you to share. That's a good question, and I am part of the Wakelet community now, so I will ask the people who make Wakelet if they are, that those are some suggestions, if we can have like a timestamp on some of the collaborations. Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll ask James, James on the Wakelet community. And Wakelet is such a great place. They're very young entrepreneurs from Great Britain, and they're doing great work with this sharing with Wakelet. So let me, So let me go back. Yeah. So while people are still here, let me show you, let me go back to my presentation and show you, we have just a few minutes. Let me show you those newsletters that I was talking about. So here we go. So here's an example of a newsletter from Wakelet. And again, we're talking about collaboration, and I'm really big into writing, if you haven't noticed. But this is a template. So you can copy this template to your own Wakelet, and then you can edit the panels. For example, this is a teacher for the month of June. And this teacher has made this template. And so you just copy, look at over here, you just copy and paste it to your Wakelet. And then you can just remember on those tabs that you can say, edit, you can edit, and you can ask kids to, your students, not kids, but you can ask your students to fill in the blanks. For example, we're going to do a newsletter about our class, and you're going to talk about, your favorite food, and these two students are going to talk about their sports, and these two students are going to talk about the movie review, and then these two students are going to share a recipe for empanadas. And so you can have a newsletter with this. Also, for professional development, this is great for professional development. If you have a newsletter with all of your teachers, you can say, okay, this is our newsletter for June. These are some things that are coming up in our institute or in our escuelita or wherever you are. Enough good things about Wakelet. And again, Wakelet has webinars, free webinars. You can go to Wakelet, and they're usually here. If you go help and inspiration, you have a training center. And so you have webinars, all kinds of webinars. And let me share the link with you. Yeah, you have all kinds of webinars here. And you have professional development, how it works, how to engage in your classroom, boost your creativity, the educator's guide. You can select your language. You can have it in Spanish if you want to, and in English, and you can do all kinds of things. So that's that. We're almost out of time, everybody. I would like to thank all of you. Angelo, muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much. And again, if you have questions, if you have any other suggestions, if you try Wakelet, if you make a Wakelet, invite me to see it. I would love to see it. I would love to collaborate with you, or with Hypothesis too. Let me know how it's going. If it's not going well, let me know too. I would love to keep up with all of the ways that you're looking. And yes, Wakelet is free. Wakelet is absolutely free. So That is amazing. So, any words, Angelo?
Just to thank you. It was amazing. All the resources are going to be extremely useful, and I'm sure that a new community has risen. They are going to share Wakelet all the time. Now, don't forget that once the session is over, you can go explore the networking, the expo, and all the sessions that we are offering the rest of the day. Thank you so much for your participation. Thanks to the 100 people that we reached. I think that was the top. All right. Yeah, three digits. Nora, you roll. All right. Thanks to Rosa Maria and to Carla. Yes, you for your okay for being here with us for making us company. All right. Thank you, Tenora and well, see you in another opportunity. Thanks.
Bye,
Thanks.
everybody. Nos vemos. Hasta luego.
Thanks.
Goodbye.